Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Dice Gold for episode 89 of On the Backs of Gods. I am your DM, Jillian, and we have our players. We currently have Kyle, Mac, and Josh. Hopefully, we will have our barbarian soon, and because it's chaotic when there's only three. We know this. It is proven. There was a hypothesis. We went through all the steps. It is true. But that's okay, because I think I will give us a little recap. We'll jump into things and we'll see who shows up and what happens. Mostly, maybe who shows up in game. Very fun. Anywho, here's what happened last time, guys. The party has currently been escorting a traveling museum, a large cart full of antiquities, and the corpse of the owner, who, through some dirty dealing, had hired some people, it seems, and this person was murdered because somebody wanted it to be so. But somebody on said murder team chose you guys, mostly because their boss chose Ink. And through the confusing turn of events, you guys were not murdered. But you made a friend, in quotes, Danelle, a druid who says that her boss wants Ink alive. So that means there has to be a bit of magic involved. And you all are welcome to finish your mission, she says, as you all push off, making your way down the road, eating eggs, coming across tracks, finding an area where some familiar friends are, friends of Bosch, who currently seem to be up to no good, filling a large hole in the ground with rotten fish and other viscera. And after some back and forth, some discussion, the party decided that it would be better to push on. And so they do, leaving it in the past. You all push on, making your way towards Noaten. You can tell Danelle is kind of shaken by the experience. I'm getting to hear of your nice friend Bosch. But pushes through with a little drink in hand. Roshan, a little pushy about it, we'll say. And Danelle asks her to get off the cart that she's on. Roshan's like, understood. Getting some information in the meantime about Burtroe, learning that he's a bit moody, kind of relaxed, but maybe quick to lash out. You make your way forward, worried you're being followed after making communication mentally with Ing, one of Bosch's associates, trying to maybe plant some seeds of discourse involving the kiln. And so far, at a bit of a standstill mid-conversation. But the next day arrives, and you can see Noaten. Beautiful large town, verging on city, depends on your opinion of things here. You can see that the reds in the sky just reflect beautifully off the water. You can see boats moving along, most of them heading inwards after a long day. The city itself, even though it's late, it's probably people heading home. The hustle and bustle, there's a lot of people moving around, a lot of carts, a lot of carrying, a lot of boxes. The buildings are cramped together in a lot of places. The alleys and roads vary in size. There are some that are wide, the size of like a normal main road, and at parts it gets thin, and your very large cart has some issue getting through, but not too much issue. Hooray! You push your way into town, and you are.
There was actually two short things I wanted to do before we got into the town proper. So just two conversations, quick ones.
From afar.
Okay.
This is me giving you the vibe of the town, and then I will let you do something before entering town. On kind of the verge of the area, it's the smell of the ocean and fish and foods cooking, and you can smell like the burning of wood, and it is just a mix of very pungent smells in this place, but a lot of them relaxing and calming, and there's something just there. It's homey, but it's not your home, if that makes any sense. You sort of sit at the cusp this high point on the road where moments from entering town, you can see the water and the movement of people. What would you like to do, Roshan?
Roshan had one quick question for Danelle, and that was, how does Mr. Boxes like to be referred to?
She
Two
glances
box
over
Stan.
at you. You know, I think if you just choose something polite, I would avoid Mr. Box.
All right.
My humble opinion.
Good enough. Although Mr. Boxes is kind of a funny name. I quite like it. But
You're welcome to ask him if he likes it.
I probably won't, but thanks. And then the other thing Roshan wanted to do was to have a chat with Nana.
Sort of, she like Denali stopped like at the cusp of the town and is like, I can wait a minute, and takes out her second flask and gets comfortable.
Oh boy.
So to Nana, Roshan says, I don't know if we will run into Bosch here or not, but if he does show up, I think you should be the one to talk to him, since you already have a rapport with him that isn't cutting his arm off. The rest of us don't. So I think,
Well, not for want of motivation, but
yes.
I take your point.
But if we are to throw him onto the scent of the kiln, McKeel, whatever he wants to call himself, you're our best bet. And you mentioned how he'd offered to teach you something about the corruption.
Yes.
As much as I hate to ask, I think you should do it. I think it could be helpful information for us, for you. If you can learn to control it, that's great. If we can learn to use it to our benefit, great. But it should also grow what little trust I'm sure he already has. And there's no lie when we say he's a common enemy.
That much is true. Yeah, I can't say that had not chanced to cross my mind, and honestly feels a little bit of a relief that someone else said it before I did. So I appreciate that.
And ask for the help of your friends before you disappear. We can help in small ways.
Of course. Yeah, I'm not planning to just disappear on the lot of you on a moment's notice, if I can possibly avoid it.
So Roshan thinks back to the point where she first met Bosch in the East, when he kind of disappeared in the crowd. Mm-hmm. He feels a little guilty, but then covers it up with, that you shouldn't do that. That's bad.
Of course.
I mean, like, it's not like Nana knows that's what he did.
She doesn't
She's
know.
not calling him out consciously.
No.
No, that's his guilty conscience.
Yeah, his guilty conscience piped up.
To certain behaviors that happened in the past.
Shadow's like, wouldn't it be weird if we thought about this real quick and felt bad? And it's like, oh, fuck. I guess.
No. Oh, shit. I'm very keenly aware that it's not likely I could do this alone. I'm not the most adept at bartering or politicking. I've said as much, but I think that with the lot of you to help me, and if we've got enough support built in beforehand, I feel like at least I could get Bosch to trust me enough to go after McKeel. Beyond that, I don't know. But I think at least that far we could get.
Well, at this juncture, anything helps, even if it is dangerous in the first place. So if you have to disappear from sight, and you get into trouble, what's the sign?
Well, that's the question, isn't it? I don't exactly have an animal companion, as Fen has.
You can
I
borrow
know
her.
of rangers.
I'm shouting down from the shoulder of Odin. You can
Oh.
borrow her.
That's very kind of you, Fen, but I don't believe she likes me very much.
Not sure she likes anyone, honestly.
Well, I mean, that's probably true, but I guess if we gave her enough grubs, she'd be amiable enough. I'll think on it. I don't know. I know of rangers who can summon up animals out of the ether, but I'm not learned in that way.
I was thinking, hopefully he doesn't take you into the center of some compound to talk with you, but I was hoping maybe one of your wolf whistles would suffice. Something shrill, loud, get our attention from even a block away. Hopefully. And hopefully it won't be needed. But if you're alone, we want to have your back.
I appreciate it. But we have to consider whether or not there's something that we could do that would be more subtle than that. If only because this might be our best and only chance at making this play. And we may as well make it count. So, if I can possibly make sure that I get this done the way that we need it done, whether that means going with Bosch to some secondary location or not, I need some way to let you all know. I'm not much learned for magics, but that would probably be more subtle than most anything else I could pull out of my bag of tricks. Whistles, flares, arrows.
So I'm not sure how it works with Roshan's talking in your head ability, but usually you can say something back. If he says something in your head, can you wait to say something back to when it's appropriate, or do you have to say it back immediately?
There's a time span also. If she's unconscious, she also can't say anything back.
Oh, shit. Oh, that would be bad.
Um,
Also, it's verbal components, so she'd have to be like, hey, so like, you know, it would be a murmuring under the breath,
Gotta
which is
pretend
less
like she's
obvious
coughing.
than whistling as loud as you can, but you know.
Yeah.
No, it's not like you can just hold on to it onto the call. It will eventually fade.
Just like randomly throw out, hey, how's the loudest you can whistle? Here's mine. And then just like,
Bosh, are you good at whistling? I'm good at whistling. And
Yeah, that won't raise any suspicion at all.
I'm also not necessarily the quietest, and perhaps we've the funds to change that. I wouldn't know how, but I could also follow you invisibly. I've been practicing some of the spells in Ave's book, and this one seemed useful.
How long could you maintain that safely?
Only an hour.
Would you be able to find somewhere to hide? I could try to shield you, but I don't think I could do it invisibly.
I'm not very good at hiding.
I've noticed, but I wasn't going to say anything.
So if it means that I can follow you only part of the way, perhaps it's still worth it.
Maybe.
And I could be some kind of alarm, just in case.
I'd feel better if you didn't have to put your own self at risk, but if nothing
I
else,
would
as you say.
too.
Well, perhaps we should consider some other methodology, something that could see for you, maybe, that I could take along with me.
Roshan looks over at the beautiful sprawling city before him and says, well, perhaps there is a conveniently placed magic shop or something here that
would
could
be
help.
very convenient.
We
Good
love
Gulvik,
the
that would be-
convenience of a magic shop.
We do love a convenience of a magic shop from Galunda, don't we? Don't we?
I'm
Oh, mate.
sure there's maybe one or not.
There's no spell mart.
Spell mart.
No, it wouldn't be subtle, but if you were in an emergency and needed to get our attention, you could just turn a large area into woods. If we were near enough by, we'd notice the change.
True enough. Could easily, I suppose, make excuses for it to some degree or another, but yeah,
No.
if nothing else, it's a last-ditch effort, and would be something I think that would be difficult for them to stop me from doing, unless they took the boots.
Boots off. This is the airport.
Boots off! Training in bare feet only! Ew! Oh
has
no,
foot
now
on it.
I've linked Bosch and Josh Sweden, no.
And
No.
You gotta be
Bjorn.
connected to the earth. You gotta feel it in your tootsies.
No, it's cold. No thanks.
It is actually very cold. That's
It's very
correct.
cold.
Understood. Danelle sort of has been slowly slumping in her seat as this conversation has gone on, and she kind of lays her head back. Am I taking you all to see Burtroe? And she says this just
Gosh.
through the whole group.
A real quick check for Mac, more for Mac than for Nana. Has any mention of Burtroe or his boxes or his bounteous trading, whatever, kind of made the rounds with the party at this point?
I think so.
I think some. I don't think the extent
Some.
of it. You know that Oon, who you had been talking to a few towns back, worked with Burtroe's boxes. And that we were gathering information from her.
Okay.
I think it's also been brought up that that Burtroe is
Knows
the closest
something
lead
of
on
Rose?
on Rose.
Okay, all right. Well, if
also,
it's-
we did them a favor one time, so we can get some good street cred in.
that's-
We have cred.
We do have
Yeah.
cred. We do. We have cred to cash in. So let's, yeah. Certainly. I mean, so long as you want us there, Roshan. I know that this would be an important meeting for you.
I would appreciate your presence, but I don't think we should walk in together.
Fair enough.
If you and everyone else go there together, Danelle and I can show up fashionably 5 minutes later and
All
I
right.
can buy Danelle another drink.
What?
Do you want more?
No. I'll take drinks all day.
Uh-huh.
So we're trying to be sneaky, or you have no friends? What's the energy we're going with here for splitting up? I want to know what I'm doing and why I should.
I don't want him to feel threatened when my incredibly capable friends all walk in together and then ask him for information.
Don't want to make it appear like a power play.
Of course. Understood. We don't want to spook Burtroe.
Yeah.
You know,
You get the boss.
I've seen him spooked. So
We want him
What's something
comfortable
we would-
since he is sometimes not.
Mm-hmm.
let's go.
Like poor Crystal and his cat.
And just kind of like a little like chuckle under her breath, and she begins to move the cart forward.
Alrighty.
And you guys make your way into Nowatan, and just it goes from being a very thick, large road to a very thin one to sharp angles. It is just, it's as if there was no planner for this for at least a long while. People
Oh,
just
boy.
started putting things up, and it's like, well, I want my house to be right here. And so now somebody has to do a 90-degree turn down a very thin alley, which is
Are we talking about downtown
difficult.
Atlanta or?
No, we're
it's
talking
all
about old
squares and
Cecil
it's all
Hyundai.
bad. It's a bunch of really bad squares. You and like constantly are going a direction somebody else wants to go, and you're like, oh shit, and you have to try and like back up your cart. It's a problem. There's no signs, but you keep going, keep doing your best.
Or there's
Um,
unhelpful signs. Anyway.
Does anybody have 15 plus passive perception?
Passive perception.
16
I do
plus?
16.
Yeah, I
16
think a
as
bunch
well.
of us.
I was about to say, you
Yeah.
guys all have pretty
We're
good perception.
perceptive fellas.
As you continue forwards, sometimes people just like actively step on parts of your cart to get around you. It just, and like are unfazed. They're just like, excuse me, and just keep moving down the thinner alleys. But as you continue forward, getting a bit further into town, more central, you start to hear the sound of arguments. Multiple arguments. A lot of people shouting at each other. As you make your way forward, you can hear somebody saying, who would do this? And somebody else replying with, there's no place for this here. And just constant back and forth. And you see Danelle kind of straightens up a bit, but continues forward.
Are we seeing? Is there any like trend in the people who are having these conversations? Does it seem to
Can't
be?
see them yet.
No. Okay.
Do my elf
Okay.
eyes see them
You're
up on top of the golem?
Very high vantage point. Very long eyes.
My eyes so long, my height
Such
so
long
tall.
eye. So tall height.
Where you are. You're going to see this maybe a handful of seconds before everybody else. But the thing that Fen sees, and then you all see a handful of seconds after, is maybe about a dozen or so people in a town square type area, just screaming at each other. There's multiple people. Some people have like sometimes a two-person yelling at one person, one-on-one. Sometimes there's just a guy in the corner just yelling. Somebody is actively weeping. It is just a mess of sound. And in the center of town, you see a large fallen tree.
Oh.
I wrote that in the notes before you said it. It says Josh bets
Yeah.
someone cuts down the tree.
Yup. Oh boy. What does Josh win? Prizes?
Nothing.
Damn.
Wait, nothing.
Damn.
There is a
Sorry, bud.
fully felled tree with white bark and purple leaves. You can see that there's still ropes tied around it, which had pulled it to the ground at some point, and people are losing their minds for one side or the other at this point in time. Danelle
Oh,
is
boy.
moving forward. She is
That's fair.
she looked at it and continued.
Yep, we
But-
are keeping on our business.
Can I
Mhm.
hop off as Prince Scorbjorn?
Hell yeah.
Oh boy.
Um,
Oh boy, bud.
I
Yeah.
want to get like kind of close and as possible as I can without like concerning people to the tree, and I'm gonna solve the problem by planting a magic bean.
Yeah, you are.
Oh my god!
What did your dismount look like? Was it acrobatic? Because I would like to critique.
I do have to do a backflip off the cart. See,
Okay, acrobatics, please.
Fen will give you tips if you fail.
that's
Yeah.
a natural 17 plus what? So 19 total.
Oh, you've got it.
I would love to provide some feedback to him. Great job,
And you
Gorbjorn.
just go
Prince Gorbjorn. Excellent.
I was just like, thanks, but. And then I'm gonna get out near the tree, like probably where it fell, and then like scoop up, and like everybody's probably yelling around me, not paying too much attention to me. So I just plant the bean in, and then I have to water it. So I imagine I have like a wine skin or water skin ready, but if not,
Sure.
I'll just pee on it. And
Yeah, you have some water, sure.
okay,
I'll say
thank
you
I
don't-
hope so.
I
Nana
say you
makes
don't-
sure you are hydrated every day.
Yeah.
Thank
Make
you
sure you
very
didn't-
much.
No dicks out yet. Not in the first
I
10
wanted
minutes
to
of game.
be like regal. I don't want to be putting my dick out
Yeah.
there, everybody.
But I would, but I don't want to.
I
D100, please.
I got a 90 and a 0, so I think that's just 90, right? Because you can only
Just
roll 0
90.
to 99.
Blue Calais. Roll me a
Jesus.
D4.
Oh no.
What the fuck is happening? Oh my god, guys, we're all gonna die.
4.
Okay.
And there before you, a blessing. A nest bursts from the ground. Exiting. You are blessed with more eggs, and somebody's just like, there were birds in the tree, and begins to weep.
Oh my-
The person
Um,
just weeps.
I'm going to take these oddly colored blue eggs and
Uh-huh.
just, like stick them in my bag, and then just be like, not what I wanted, and plant the other bean, my last bean.
Hell yeah,
my
D100.
God!
More eggs.
More eggs.
45. 45.
Is it?
Roll D6.
Are your D100s cursed?
Roll a D6, please.
So that is a 4.
You pick up the eggs, put them away, and this area is so loud. People shouting at each other. Somebody's like, who's gonna protect us now? And you hear somebody over there just like, I'm gonna break your teeth. It is just a varying level of emotions. And then from below you, you just hear, and bursting forth from around the tree, 10 large mushrooms explode from the ground and begin to scream. It is drowning out the sound of the people, and the mushrooms scream and scream, and the people are like, and people, you successfully break up this mob as they all are unsure what to do and start leaving. And the screaming just continued. They just stand there and scream, just kind of like waving.
Yeah, this
And
is for the
screaming.
guards to deal with. I'll try to catch up.
Guard looking at it like, and he like looks at his sword and like looks, and he like covers his ears, and he's like, okay, and starts to make his way over. But
And here's the guards looking extremely tired, like, yep, same shit as always.
this is the same problem, just different.
Worse.
It's like counter protesting, except instead of drowning them out with a microphone, you're drowning them out with giant mushrooms.
Exactly.
it's
Like,
just-
it's like when
We should all be getting high on mushrooms is the
riot
message.
police just like send out like sonic attacks at people.
So you guys, you successfully break this up, and that's the true pleasure of this moment is you broke up this
Christo,
problem.
do you have Bamboozle the DM on your bingo sheet? Because I would argue for this one.
I mean,
Ironically,
I wasn't expecting Prince Gorbjorn to do some fuckery in the middle of town. Sure, you bamboozled me.
I stopped using my bingo sheet because it
That's
reset
okay.
itself. So I'm just playing for fun again.
don't understand how it
Well,
resets itself. It's a
I don't-
pain in the ass.
Mine has not yet
You're
done
bamboozled.
that. Oh well.
But you push forward. You guys continue forward after being like, it's loud. It's like ear-shatteringly loud in this area. Danelle is just like, okay, and just kind of picks up the pace. He's like, God, none of my business.
Nope.
And you, Prince Gorbjorn, takes his bow and leaves.
Taking my 7 eggs.
You have so many eggs to kill yourself with now. You're
Please,
like,
Gorbjorn, don't eat them all at once.
Oh yeah, like
But
I
how
get back to
fun.
the crowd after like this, back to the group after this, like screaming as I like run back. It's like, what happened? I'm like, I got more eggs.
And screaming mushrooms, apparently. Let's please leave. I can't hear myself think.
yeah, you all push forward, and just in the distance, just full, just horrible shrieks. 10, like almost the same octave, but not exactly. It is unnerving, and you're
Oh,
like,
I
please.
I
hate
just
it.
want one of them to be like, ooh. It's like the tiniest one
Nobody
too.
else will. It's like, guys, come
Yes!
on.
The tiniest one and the deepest
We have a
voice,
standard.
obviously.
I'm kind of worried because now we're out a wild magic sorcerer and wild magic beans. What is Jillian going to insert into the game next?
Well, there is that box I got from Loki.
There is.
Of beans.
Roshan was too
100
busy
beans.
translating the code, so he hasn't actually gotten a chance to take a look at it.
I was
Oh, not
really
yet.
hoping
The book
to
was
come in
definitely important.
a giant tomb. Just
boy.
like, look
I
at
was
you,
kind of hoping for big pyramid, but
Yeah.
you know, it was just huge pyramid in the middle of town.
Oh my
Kills
god.
everybody in the vicinity instantly. But, you know,
Including us. Game over. Bye, guys.
loud mushrooms, much more survivable.
Yeah, significantly.
You are currently following Danelle, who knows the way. It's what she said. She said she'd introduce you. You push forward for a while, and after going through these weird sort of convoluted streets, you arrive at a building. 2 buildings kind of jammed together. One of them taller, 3 stories-ish. It just has like a slant at the top, so it's like 2.5. And the other one is 1 story tall, flat, and kind of goes further back and snakes around the other building. So it's kind of like they're clasped together. You see a sign hanging on the spot on the taller building between the 2 that says Laughing Ocean Tavern. And below this wooden side, dangling from it, is a comedy tragedy mask where the mouths are interconnected and one blows like in the wind below it, just slowly shifting in the breeze. You can see that it's, when you get closer, you can see it says "and in" written on the taller building, as if maybe she was newer to the game or recently procured. But Danelle stops in front. So you guys, I don't know how you want to do this, really, you know, espionage type deal we're doing. She gets in the headspace. So you guys are welcome if you want to go get a place at the inn. I have to get this cart to where it's going, which is pretty close by, but I can meet you back outside.
Can I
Which
join
place
Danelle?
She looks at you. Not for this part, but I think you can be there when it happens.
This is my
Not a
person's inks like right. I can't just like let it go. Ugh.
Listen, the place I have to take it, it's a little, but I will keep you in the loop. Nothing will happen without you guys knowing about it.
Which
Okay, I'm gonna
in
follow her.
We're gonna try to follow her.
Yeah, sneak follower, of course. Yeah.
Sure. Okay. What were you saying, Finn?
Which of these inns has the better ale? If and when Tordrick wakes up, I want him to be able to have good ale.
That's a
So
good point.
The inn is just rooms, and then the tavern is just drinks.
That keeps
Okay.
things simple.
Perhaps prop him up in the corner of the tavern and pay the barkeep to keep an eye on him.
I should
All
think
right.
that will be suitable. Yes.
I'll meet you all out here. And she sits there and watches you guys.
All right. Okay. Let's get Tordrick set up somewhere safe. If not in a room, then definitely in yonder
So
tavern.
Gorbjorn, she stands there like watching you all go inside. Do you like go inside and then like wait a pause and then slip back out?
Yeah, exactly. I'll go in, get a drink, immediately chug it, and then like
Oh my god.
go back out.
Wow.
Okay.
Just so that she'll
Um,
see you paying for it at the counter.
You go into the inn and there's like a guy who had gotten himself a drink and you're like, and you knock it back. He would run across, gotten a drink and come back. And you guys watch Gorbjorn walk back out.
Oh, that all right. Be back later, please.
Thumbs
Oh,
up out the
boy.
door.
The last thing you see is his thumb. Gorbjorn, go ahead and roll me stealth.
Ooh, baby.
Oh, I worry about that boy.
I believe that is an 18. Yes.
Interesting.
'Cause of
One
course she is.
moment. I just want to make sure. See, here's my thing about D&D Beyond. Why do you start with my oldest character? Why does that make sense?
You can change the sword order.
You can, but it always goes back for me.
Really?
And
How
I
weird.
don't like it. Please sponsor.
D&D Beyond, please sponsor, but also please fix.
But also, hey, or Wizards of the Coast, who will be owning it very soon.
No,
Hey,
Wizards, yes.
could you guys fix that for me? Thanks. That's all I
please,
want.
Thanks.
Thanks. Bye.
18, you said?
Hmm.
You see her cart starting to move forward, and you begin to stealth after, moving pretty damn silently. And it helps that this tavern that you're walking past is pretty damn loud. Not compared to the middle of town anymore, but you make your forward and watch as the cart begins to turn and like go around towards like, it looks like the backside of the building. And as you turn the corner, the cart is fully stopped and Danelle is like looking back at you. Would you like to see where I'm going? You're muted. Just saw the nod. I'm like, I get that.
Yeah.
She's like, okay, I'll show you where I'm going. And the cart begins to move forward with you following, seeing this to the end. The rest of you are currently inside the inn part, not connected to the tavern. There's like no door between them. They're separate buildings. You make your way in. You know, you were there. We go. The person at the front, kind of like an old guy with a bit of a patchy beard. Show over a room. Where you want?
5.
$5 silver.
Roshan will pay for that.
And just like very shaky hands reach out towards you for you to put the money in. You watch one eye just drift. I made myself lightheaded doing the breathing.
Oh no.
It's like, oh shit. Oh no.
Jillian, don't go
I'm
into
too
the
in it.
light.
I'm too in it to win it. You get 5 rooms. What would you guys like to do?
Think maybe we should put up Tordrick in one of them, because, like, it seems to me like on the off chance that Bosch and his party are anywhere within vicinity of the town, we don't want to leave one of our party just propped up in a corner somewhere.
There's just a room where Tordrick is kind of like this on the bed,
Sleeping Beauty style, you know.
fully unconscious, but
Of course. We propped him up real nice. We gave him pillows. We, didn't even draw any dicks on him.
see y'all. What is there anything you guys wanted to do before going back downstairs? You currently have 5 rooms to yourself.
Nope.
I mean, I feel like our next step is pretty immediate from here.
It takes the time. You lost your strongest person, so you have to carry Tordrick up the stairs, and you're just like, the first room you get to, you're like, this one.
Yep. That's the first one. It's the best one. There we go. Hey. Tordrick goes in.
and-
We lock him in.
After taking a moment, a breath, you all reconvene and start to make your way back downstairs.
All right.
If the two of you would like to go to the bar, I'll meet you in there with Danelle and I suppose Gorbjorn at some point.
All right.
All right. Yeah, that's fine.
Do you want to let us know by your thing?
Sure, if I have anything important to say, I will. Otherwise, I'll just walk in.
Fair enough.
If you see me walk in, I'm their beach. So we split the party 3 ways.
Jillian
where
drops
do you
a bomb on the town.
No!
Oh, no. Who would do that?
We built the sarcophagus kind of tomb pyramid.
But if only there had been a cool pyramid that burst forth from the ground.
Curses!
One away. If that second die rolled anything else, I would have gotten it.
Yeah, we're pretty damn close.
Behind the scenes, Jillian just wrote up this entire encounter with, some sarcophagi, some mummies.
I'm just ready to fight like a mummy lord. Like I've been waiting for it.
Give me
But
we need some Brendan Fraser goodness up in here.
I guess I'll get more beans, guys. Roshan, where do you wait? I'm just curious.
I think he would wait outside, but not right outside the business. If there are some benches or any kind of public area that can see this inn.
Sure. There's probably a good spot you can set up. You go and find a spot and you sit by your lonesome. You kind of get to watch the place. A constant flow of people coming and going, like there's not a lot of pause between this movement in the area. And you wait. Gorbjorn. Danelle, who has, I guess, ridiculously high passive perception, kind of waits for you to catch up at that point and then continues forward.
Oh,
she looks at you.
I still wanted to be sneaking behind it, even though she knows I'm there. Like,
okay. Yeah. She sort of talks vaguely to herself, just loud enough so you can hear, but it sounds like she's like talking to herself, like, oh, what am I going to do today? Okay, so I'm going to go where I'm going. I am going to hand over some precious cargo, but we can't follow it inside. We have to go through a different way. So we have to go back in the front, but I will show you where it is going. And the cart pulls forward and goes around the back. You can see that there are two men posted up near a door. She pulls up the cart towards them. Yeah. Special package inside, and like taps the cart. They sort of like look at her. Roll insight for me, Gorbjorn. See what we got as you watch from the shadows.
With that's the 17.
Ooh. You watch the process of these two men figuring out what's going on in like real time. They don't say anything. They just like look at her like expectantly. And then they look at the cart. They scan it, and then they look back at her. And you can see it's sort of a process of realizing there's not a living person on the cart with her, that nobody else is popping out. And the guy nods, and Danelle gets off of the cart, and you watch as she opens it up. Ink's body is removed, which is currently wrapped in a stained fabric. And these men escort Ink's body inside through this door. And a moment later, a few people come out, and one of them takes Danelle's spot on the cart and starts to pull away with it. Taking it somewhere safe, she says, just kind of out loud, vaguely to herself.
Or she tells them to take it somewhere safe. Yeah.
Yeah, she's like, they're like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, like the same spot we only have.
We have one spot for big cart. Jesus,
it is
Danelle.
safe spot, obviously. You know this, Danelle. We went
Benny?
over this in orientation.
We have one spot for big cart. And the cart pulls away, the door's closed behind where Ink has gone, and she kind of stands there a moment and then begins to make her way back around the building.
So when do we see Ink again?
So I'm not an expert on this, but we have to call somebody in. They're probably already in town, but I would assume that they will at least tell you when the ritual is going to happen. Maybe you can watch, but you will get to see Ink.
This sounds like too many steps for Gorbjorn to like really appreciate. So he's just like angry, just like, no, just now.
And she kind of like nods. Give me a minute. We'll figure it out. The both of you make your way around. Roshan, you see Danelle and Gorbjorn come around the side of the building. Meanwhile, inside, team went in to get a drink. Bit crowded, bit loud. The floors are sticky. There is a slight smell of mildew and BO. It's not like the most pleasant place, but everybody seems to be having a pretty good time. Drinks to be had, tables mostly full, people talking and just going about their business, and literally some people just walk in, grab something, and leave. It's constant movement in this place. You can see that there is a bar along the back corner, mostly filled. Both of you, because I just assume with your rangerness. Go ahead and give me perception checks.
Mm-hmm.
The assumption I will make.
16.
My dice are rolling true to form, guys. It's a 9.
Nana, you're like, that is where I will get a drink. I'm playing a character. Like, you sort of get too much into the headspace. You're just like focused fully on what Roshan told you to do. And you're like, I'm going to do it.
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it.
So Nana, you make your way over to one side of the bar. And for 2 copper pieces, you're able to get a drink.
All right, for 2 copper pieces. Excellent.
Fen, you look around, you get like a really good beat on like people moving to and from, some entering, not even sitting down, going over to somebody, taking a package or a letter, and moving on. It is just constant. It's like it's almost like you've entered a factory. It's just each part is its own machine piece.
Yeah, I'm very
And-
deliberately trying not to get bumped into. So of course I'm paying very close attention to this. So-
You sort of get the rhythm of it and make your way through, and you can see that there are two other doors in the place. There's one back, kind of more behind the bar, and there's one to the left side when you enter on the far wall. You also see on the bar, sort of blocked by a lot of people that are moving by, there is a cushion set up on the tabletop, and curled up, sleeping soundly. There we go, boys. On top of this cushion, on top of the bar top, is an orange tabby. Just fully curled up.
No, there's more cats. There's so many cats in the last town, and there's another cat here.
Well, not all cats know each other. I'm sure you're aware.
What if they
Um,
do? There's like a
what if
psychic
they-
link between all cats. Officially canon now. Sorry,
Hive
everybody.
mind cats, awesome.
I feel
Cool.
like all cats commune spiritually in their sleep because they nap so much, and they're just, but they
Where they
all
all
meet
chit-chat.
in hell.
They
Like,
astral project.
they all
Boys.
astral project into like the 9 hells, and they're just like,
It's
Gather up.
basically VR chat, but it's astral projection and it's cats.
in hell.
In hell, yes.
Ben, would you also like to get a drink? Throw down 2 copper.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah.
Okay. And you guys are just playing it cool and scoping the place?
Just scoping the place.
Okay. Around this time, Roshan, you see the second part of the team.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome back. Delivery successful.
Yep. So
We've-
some stealthy mission now. What am I up to?
No, I just appreciate an introduction to Burtroe.
I am very capable of that.
I appreciate it. And I suppose I want to ask, before we lose track of each other tonight, when will we know about ink, or how long we need to wait, or what are next steps with you?
I will try to get you that information. If you're staying at that inn, you're very easy to find, but I'll give you the information as I get it. So
I
we can
appreciate
talk
it.
before you go.
Roshan will just put an arm on her shoulder and like meaningfully say to her that he appreciates the help.
All right. Follow me.
Saspard using sincerity.
I got the 2 S's in here.
Sincerity, it's
Sincerity
extremely
and
effective.
sass. Yes.
After realizing sass not working, backtrack.
Well, see, sass won't work for
God.
everything is the only thing.
Could use sarcasm too.
Yeah, there's the
There's
3
so many
S's.
S's.
S's for days.
And
Gorbjorn,
seduction.
you
He's
go
a
in with
bard.
him? Okay. The rest of you make your way in, and she enters the place and kind of looks around. With your passive insight, Roshan, you can see that multiple people glance over at Danelle, clock her, and then go back to what they were doing. She's like, follow me, and she makes her way to the bar.
Roshan will do so.
You watch as she kind of makes her way over. It seems like she's looking for an open seat. And there is one next to a cushion on a bar top with an orange tabby on it. And she motions to the seat. Sit down. I'll be back.
Roshan will sit down, and is there a bartender there?
Yeah, you're able to get a drink. You're able to flag them down.
Yeah, I'll do that. And maybe ask one of them about the cat.
The cat, big sweetie, gives like the cat like a pat on the head while filling your drink. And the cat like wakes up a bit and like rolls over onto its back and sort of like crescent moon stomach exposed, kind of like laying there. And you hear the little jingle as it has like a little leather collar with a bell and like a tiny little nameplate on it. It's just full stomach up, and you watch the guy like give it a pat and then put your drink down and then keep walking.
What does the nameplate say?
You reach over and you tilt it down. Burtroe.
Burtroe. Huh. Wow, great. Love that. Roshan will turn to see where Danelle has gone.
Roll perception.
Yeah, that's a 9.
Ma'am. You take a look around. Danelle is not immediately visible to you as you sort of look back and forth, and as you like place your hand sort of on the bar to like turn yourself, you immediately get like full bunny kicked by Burtroe, who is like taken hold of your hand, and it's just like boom, 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 just multiple leg kicks, and then like rolls over and then acts like they didn't do that.
Rolls over to bare their stomach again.
Yeah.
Roshan will happily do some pets on Burtroe's stomach.
Yeah, you give some pets.
You fool! You followed into the trap.
It inevitably happens again after a few pets, but you kind of look around and then look back forward, and Danelle is on the other side of the bar, leaning forward and looking at you. I told you he's temperamental, moody.
I think Roshan just has to take a hot second to just laugh and say to the cat, so Mr. Burtroe, apparently we have some matters that need discussing.
She like looks to you and then like looks to Burtroe. Like there's, and you're like, just like the tiniest little meow. And she kind of reaches over and is able to get a few good pets in. She stops at 4 and like pulls her hand back, just missing the grab for her hand. So it seems Burtroe, Mr. Box, may not be the most helpful. Lucky for you, my boss is here, if you'd like to chat.
Sure, I've been waiting. How long? How long ago did we meet, Danelle?
I don't
While.
know.
A few
It's been
days.
like 3 days.
in-game,
3 or 4
something
days
like
ago.
that.
I think we're in the
I've been-
Not
4
yet
day.
a week,
We're
but
on
like
the
a few
4th, yeah.
days.
I've been waiting almost a week to meet them.
Gather your team.
Oh, lovely. Roshan will do a little whistle to off in Nana and Fenn's direction.
Yeah,
And
Fen is
then-
watching this.
Hello?
Fen is watching
Guy
this
just-
intently, keeping Jenny like safely in his pocket.
Yeah, of course, of course.
What's up?
Nana, how much of that whole conversation were we able to hear on our end of the bar, if any?
I would have probably said none of it.
That makes
You
sense.
see
that
them
makes sense.
talking over a cat.
Okay, they're talking over a cat. Okay, fine.
Normal,
Fair enough.
casual.
So, all right, cool, normal, casual, chill stuff. They're petting a cat. They're talking. We're coming over, I guess, with beers in hand. So, what's the plan? Any sign of Burtroe?
This is Burtroe. Meet Burtroe. 4 pats is the limit.
Oh, 4 is it?
Full
Yes.
exposed like white tummy.
Yeah, Fen would definitely pet the cat.
Nana
Do
will
you do
also
the
pet
recommended
cat.
4?
It's the recommended 4
I-
and then the
I-
withdrawal.
No, I'll keep petting.
Oh my god, of course you
A
would.
bunny kicked, but you know.
You're,
what are you gonna do?
you know what you're
I got
getting
leather
into.
armor. What's it gonna do?
That's a fair
It's just
point.
scratching at the armor, and you're like, I'm too powerful to keep petting.
I
can't
am
be
too
stopped.
powerful. Ha 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 ha.
I'm galaxy braining over here, thinking about Burtroe's boxes and how, of course, Burtroe loves boxes. Burtroe's a fucking cat. Burtroe
Yeah.
probably shits in a box.
Well, cats often
Um,
do.
I'm gonna get the spot behind his ear. The
Oh, he fucking loves it. Having the time of his life. He's a
Gotta get
businessman.
under the chin.
This is
little-
my favorite businessman, and if anything happens to this cat,
Yeah,
I don't know what I'll
honestly,
ever do.
Same.
Yeah, Nana?
God, I want to use a spell here. It's not shenanigans that Nana's usually in the habit of doing, but you know, it's only a level 1 spell. Why not? Nana doesn't expect to get anything useful out of this, but she'd like to use speak with animals to maybe just sort of like tongue-in-cheek. So, Burtroe, how's business lately?
There's a slow turn of the head. Darling, business is booming.
You don't
Business
say.
is always booming.
I can tell you're an extremely keen business cat.
I'm so high up the chain. I do nothing. And just it's a weird little laugh.
That's truly the dream, is it not? To have so much control over your own enterprise that it runs itself.
It truly does. I am fed and I am cared for, and people let me scratch them all the time.
It seems like something you enjoy doing very much.
I do. You've caught me guilty.
You are the most pleasant business owner I have ever met in my entire life, Burtroe, and I will be a loyal patron of yours as long as I live.
Of course, enjoy the boxes. I don't know what we do.
Oh, who needs to know that when you're so high up the chain, am I right?
That's how I feel about you. Get me.
I feel like we connect very well.
You may pet my stomach 5 times.
A whole 5? A whole 5, are you sure?
I am extremely positive. 5 pets.
You are so very generous. Thank you very much,
That's
Mr.
what
Burtroe.
they tell me. 5 pets.
Nana will do the 5 pets.
You were attacked on the 5th one.
Of course she is! She was a fool! Ah, you're an extremely savvy business person, Mr. Burtroe. I should have seen that coming.
It seems I have won this time. Consider yourself
think you-
defeated. I enjoyed your patronage.
I am bested and defeated, but not discouraged. I shall be back again someday.
Everyone watches this happen. Danelle follows it like she fully understands what everybody's saying, though.
That makes sense. Nana's just holding this one-sided conversation with a cat, and it's just...
And then she
So-
pets it and immediately gets attacked.
I need DM clarification here, or player clarification. Is Nana baby talking the cat, or is Nana like speaking in words everybody else can understand, or is Nana meowing at this cat?
I assume this, I like to imagine speaking with animals is just normal human talking at an animal, and they get it, but they respond with cat sounds or animal sounds,
Okay.
except
And then
to the
the
person
other
who cat.
person hears it.
Yeah, so you hear her talking to like a full businessman. There's just a cat there.
Praising his acumen and his business and so on.
Danelle sort of laughs at the end of it, and you watch as she walks over to the side door that was on the far left when you entered. And she like wraps her knuckles on it.
Uh-huh.
You all ready?
As we'll
Let's
ever
have a
be.
look.
I'll
Are we
bring-
allowed to bring our beers with us?
Yeah, I'll have 2 beers and
Can we bring drinks?
Can we bring Burtroe?
I doubt that.
very
Nobody-
busy.
hicks up Burtroe.
That seems ill-advised. He must maintain an eye upon his business.
But I promise you he'll be here when you come back. Now, of course, you can bring your drinks. Follow me.
Thank you. All right.
And
Away
he
we
reaches to the door, and that's where we're going to take our break.
Naturally.
Thanks for being here. We really appreciate it. We're going to take a 10-minute break. Go get a snack, go get a drink, and we will get to meet a new player in this game. See you guys in 10.
Thank you,
Let me
Ted.
call this.
What?
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Dice Cult for episode 89. We currently just took our break. The party has just arrived in the town of Noaten. Too similar. And have made their way to the Laughing Ocean Tavern, where Roshan had his first meeting with this fabled Burtroe of Burtroe's boxes. And
The
it
DM
seems-
bamboozled us.
And everybody mark off DM bamboozled you.
God, I wish that should be the next center square.
I did it. Instead of being an actual person running the company, Burtroe is a lazy orange tabby who spends his days sleeping on top of a bar.
I mean, it's just as well, really. If you have a criminal organization named for a figurehead, why make it the actual figurehead?
That'd be silly. You get it. So Danelle has now said that she will introduce you to her boss. And you have all gathered back up, drinks in hand. Danelle approaches a door, which she raps on a couple times and waits. And then opens it. You can see that this door immediately leads to some downward steps, but you can see the bottom. So it's not too incredibly deep. It looks like it goes to some sort of cellar space, usually for like colder storage. You make your way forward, following Danelle downwards. And she's like, I'm sure you already know. Don't reach for your weapons. Be respectful. That's the gist of it.
Fair
And
enough.
makes her way down.
Can't grab a weapon when you got 2 beers.
Yeah,
have
exactly.
no
We're
hands.
being extremely non-threatening. We're bringing our own beers. BYOB.
Of course, it's honestly probably the smartest thing you could do is just we brought our drinks.
Pro tip: approach a crime boss with beer.
Honestly, 10 out of 10.
And like, if Gorbjorn happens to think like a prince for a minute, he could give one to this crime boss and just be a real bro.
Just hand them off
Eggs
to like the
for your
goons,
troubles.
and like they're already cool. They're drinking. They're not guarding.
You make your way down. The first thing that hits you is a change of scent, compared to sort of the mildewy BO of the upstairs. There's more of an herb-y scent, the smell of smoke, sort of a sweeter smell, and just it has like a
good kush.
cloying heaviness to the scent.
Is it skunky?
Hey, is it? I would say it is not.
All right, fair, fine.
Fine then, Jillian. Don't make this character cool.
Exactly.
Fine then.
Ew.
It can be something else. It doesn't have to be that.
That's fine. It's a choice. Sorry, I'm reading a note off screen. Just so everybody else knows, there are now a bunch of caltrops outside of Tordrek's door.
Inside.
Inside the door.
Yeah.
Inside.
Inside
That makes
the door.
much more sense. I was just
Yes.
like, I could just see that guy
Yeah.
walking by like, hello?
Yeah, just like I guess I cleaned this up. They're mine now. Like
I
Oh
own
my God.
these.
These
So
would be
inside the door,
mine.
you dropped some caltrops and then closed and locked the door.
Yes, just to
Strictly fine.
protect.
Tordrick.
Yeah, not going to offer very much protection, but if somebody was like going to go snooping around, maybe it would dissuade them. That's all.
My tootsie. I gotta get out of here, boys.
Oh no,
Um,
it's a Lego.
But this scent, this heavy smoke smell hits you as you enter, filling the space kind of aggressively. At the end of the stairs, you enter a rectangular room that has nice, comfortable looking furnishings in it. You see a table with a couple chairs. You also see in this room, there are 2 more doors, one towards the back and one continuing on the left side. In this room, you see 3 people, 2 of them flanking one, the 2 slightly behind the one in the center. The one on the left is a woman wearing half plate, very nice looking half plate, a shield propped up against the wall behind her, and a sword at the side. Pale skin, pale hair, light eyes, and is just not even really watching you, sort of at an angle a bit, head back slightly, but enough to, if she looked out of the corner of her eye, she could see you. And on the central person's right side, you see a man also wearing matching armor, matching weapons, and looks very similar. Also pale, also light hair and light eyes. Both of them in vaguely aloof sitting positions while heavily armored and armed.
Gorbjorn's going to look at Roshan and remember Rose and like point at him, and then or like kind of like look at him, look at the guards, look at him, look at the guards, and then just be like Roshan, like half the conversation going like, "What's going on?
What is it, boys?" Gorbjorn, with this 10 intelligence, he can't be stopped.
He can't
Gorbjorn's
stop,
the
man.
first
He
to
knows
notice.
I have
something's happening.
7 eggs.
He knows something's happening.
This
Like, I
is
got it.
the first annual meeting of the Twins Club, and Gorbjorn, you are witnessing it.
Oh yeah,
Wow.
I'm the
Amazing.
notary.
Yes.
Just learned to write.
Yup.
Everything's just like a drawing and like a stamp.
And we were sitting around a table and we looked like this.
I would pay cash money.
In the center between these twins is a man in what kind of looks like a chief's chair, is sort of the energy of it. Looks comfortable and vaguely opulent, sort of draped in fabric in some places, bits of metal embedded into the wood. It looks nice and it looks incredibly comfortable. There's a man who sits in the center, mid
Nana's
to late
taking notes about
40s.
this chair. It's like,
I'm gonna go
this
home
guy's
and make
got
me a
leadership
chair.
chairs figured out. Maybe I should figure out leadership chairs. I don't
If I had
know.
a chair, people would respect me.
He's a chair guy. Am I a chair girl?
I don't know.
A chair lead?
Maybe.
He
I
has
know
like
woodworking, but this is more carpentry sort of thing.
Or are you more like a short couch kind of girl? You know?
yeah, kind of like a chaise.
A
Like a
Yes, a
lounge.
chaise lounge I could see as being very powerful.
A cite,
Oh, yeah.
like
Roshan is definitely a fainting couch kind of chief.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
makes sense.
I'm a lazy boy myself, just
Oh.
recliner, the feet up.
Be like a swing sort of chief. Like I just have a swing set in the middle. I'm like, hello.
Ooh.
Oh my
so
god,
guys,
one of those
take a seat.
ceiling suspended dangling chairs that you see at
Guys,
the Ren Fair
like it's
all
a
the time.
patio, like on my porch. Just like, hey guys, take a seat.
I like
His is not
rattan
suspended.
personally.
It's on the ground. He has like thick black hair, sort of pushed back. It's graying in spots. Like it looks like it started graying a bit while ago. It has streaks in it. He has a beard that has the same situation going on, darkly colored, but bits of gray starting to aggressively show through. He's wearing what looks like some very comfortable robes, pretty thick. They look very thick for warmth, blue and purples in tone. There's some fur along the bottom. There's a smattering of piercings on his face, some on the eyebrows, one on the nose and lip. You can see that around the eyes, there is like charcoal smudging and a kind of wide attempt at like a smoky eye, just a bit more encompassing. On one side, he holds a wooden cane, which has metal filigree across it. The man himself looks pretty solid, wide shoulders, but has a bit of a stomach that sticks out a good bit, kind of softer than the rest of him. Chest hair visible from the point at the top. Around the neck is a golden choker. And between his fingers, he holds a large cigar on ring-covered fingers, just rings up and down the fingers. And beneath them, you can see the lightened smudging of black tattoos that have faded over time, but just visible beneath the rings. The man looks over to you, and Roshan, you clock this immediately, looks at you. Okay. There is a reaction to seeing you. And then that reaction fades back. And he smiles to the group, pleasant, kind of chewing on the end of this cigar and like pulls it back. I've heard that Burtroe is not able to help you. I'm incredibly sorry to hear this.
Not
You
that
know-
he isn't extremely persuasive and a very good businessman.
I think Burtroe was helpful in his own way.
He usually is. I'm sure we have very important business to discuss. Danelle? And he calls Danelle over, who like glances at your group and then makes her way forward. And the way he turns, this conversation is between him and Danelle. You can tell, Roshan, that she immediately kind of straightens up, and there is a sense of discomfort as she stands in front of him. Could you please give me an update? She takes a moment. The cart and ink have arrived. Well, Ink's body has arrived. I see. A bit of a failure on your part. My moonlighters? Dead. Aside from Belda, who fled. Another failure. Disappointing. Tell me of our new acquaintances. They were mercenaries who were hired to protect Ink's card. He kind of pries his eyes away from Danelle to look back to you guys. Well, you're not alone in failure then. And then turns his focus back to Danelle, cutting you
I
guys
had to
back out.
protect the cart, and you have the cart.
Fen, not right
I'm,
now.
s- I'm sorry.
Burtroe, gentle meow from upstairs. Oh no, strike one.
Oh no!
Well, and he motions out to the group. Give me your honest assessment. Would you work with them in the future? No. Do you find them capable? No. Useful? No. Explain your reasoning.
I want to insight those. Yeah. Sorry, but go
Are
ahead.
you going to insight her
Yeah.
or him? Okay, go ahead and roll insight.
No.
You narrow
kind of
your eyes.
also, I feel like Nana would be trying to kind of clock this. She would be trying to feel the vibe of this, like, across the board pan. She's like, on the one hand, based on all of her reactions to the decisions we've made along the way, yeah, her answers make sense. But also, is there something else going on under the surface here?
Be the last insight for this part of the conversation.
That's fair. That's fair. Not the worst. Okay, that's 17.
Based on your reasoning, you think she probably 100% feels this way. But laying it on a little thick.
That's what yeah. Okay. All right. Okay.
He looks to her.
That was the vibe I was getting.
And your reasoning? They easily fell into an ambush and lost the fight against the Moonlighters, and later came across another encounter, another fight they could have had, and fled from it. I see. Well, I find this room incredibly stuffy. Could you kill one of them for me? And Danelle spins instantly, reaches for her weapon, and it all happens just rapid fire. Roshan, you are looking directly into her eyes as she stares directly at you as she's reached for her weapon, and you watch this man raise his hand. Hey, quick on the draw, come down. Take it easy.
Could I have just like done a dive as well?
And he just goes wide.
Mid-move, and you just jump and fall in front.
It's so Taika Waititi. I love the energy. Thank you.
Danelle stands there, tight grip on this pole arm, just looking you dead in the eyes, Roshan, eyes just blown wide, and you just get this sense of adrenaline as the man has his hand up. That was great, Danelle. You can calm down. Thank you. Go get Lafayette. We need to fix your problem. And you watch as she takes a deep breath and lets go of her weapon, hand shaking, and she starts to make her way to the back door, not the one on the side. Yes, Nana.
Can I clock any of what that was about?
Testing loyalty, I'm sure.
I mean, like, it seems like extremely.
You can take it how you'd like to,
extremely
or you could roll. It's up to you.
I'd like to give it a shot. Never mind. I'm just going off of my hunch.
You can take that as you would like to take that.
Fair enough.
And he sort of like watches her go, and the door closes behind. Whew. And you watch him like stretch and get comfortable. Sorry about that. Sometimes you have to be, you know, a big bad boss man. Who do I have the pleasure of speaking to?
My name is Roshan Fronason of Galunder. These are my companions, Nana, Fen, and Gorbjorn.
Prince Gorbjorn.
Prince Gorbjorn.
Ah, it is very nice to meet you. My name is Olavi Strand. Sorry, I'm a little taken aback. It is like and motions at Roshan. It is like looking at ghost.
I assume you've met my sister then.
That is the thing. If your sister is Rose, then yes, I've met her. The funny thing is, she tells me that she has twin, but that he was dead. Are you dead, Roshan?
Not as far as I know, just on the inside.
Ooh.
Best to keep it that way, yes?
Of course.
How can Olavi help you?
We were actually sent in this direction by a friend of Burtroe's boxes who said Burtroe might know the direction of my sister. Now, I don't doubt Burtroe's specific set of skills, but I somehow doubt that Burtroe knows where Rose is. And I suppose I am here to ask you if you know where she is.
Well, Rose and Burtroe were very close. Good friends. So were we. I would
What was
consider
that?
Rose a...
Oh.
So were we. I would consider Rose a close friend.
Then I'm sorry that she lied to you.
It's for the best.
Can I?
So-
What does that mean?
You don't know.
Okay. We met a woman named Un, who we assisted in delivering some goods for Burtroe's boxes. That inn owner, no, the brothel owner. He's a piece of work, but he followed instructions once we made it clear things weren't going to go any other way.
And for this, you were given information.
That's all I asked for.
So that debt is done.
It is.
Understood. Rose, good worker. Did dirty jobs. Easy on the eyes, you know. One time, I had to bail her out of jail, you know. Kindness of my heart. It's good stuff. It's been quite some time.
Would it trouble you too much to ask in which direction she went, or if you know anything of where she is now?
I am extremely troubled. Because information is precious.
I understand. And what is the price of this information?
Well, Nell says you all are shit. Would you like to rebuttal? And he gets comfortable.
I think she had a pretty decent lay of things. We did let ourselves get juked, and unfortunately it meant the loss of precious cargo. But did end up getting it here, not in the condition that we were hoping for, unfortunately, but the battle she says we fled from outside of town, how much do you know of?
That's information that's worth something, Roshan.
I'm-
You could tell him, but you could also get something for it. It's valuable.
I mean, that is very valid. Move along,
also-
new topic.
Also,
I'm-
Danelle's full of shit. If Danelle wanted to make sure Ink didn't die, she could have switched her allegiances well before she did in that battle,
Ben,
and we'd have had no problem dealing with her ambush that she fully participated in.
it is best to start with a gift.
All right, by all means, Roshan, tell him what waits outside of his town. But Danelle's assessment of our martial prowess and our ability in battle is misleading. She's being dishonest to him.
That's also valuable
you-
information.
So, did you lose fight against Danelle?
Yes, we did.
Oh.
Ben,
How
friend,
much do you
friend,
know
I know.
of the guard? His name just whispered out of my head.
The guard is probably the best way to talk about him to other
Yes,
people.
honestly,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, the guard.
Nobody
is-
knows
Worked
his
out.
real name over here.
Big tree on ground. That is what I know of the guard.
I suppose you're aware that the tree in the center of your town was recently pulled out.
Yes, it's on the ground. Now
Um,
there's mushrooms.
Yes. So the guard has multiple places here in the east where, from the intel we've gathered, he has dug holes in the ground and is filling them with dead fish.
or other dead matter?
It's my assumption, based on how the corruption travels and spreads, that he's building a monster outside of town. And
Not just your town, but several others.
Yeah, there are several of these holes. We don't know the full extent of them. Unfortunately, going and sabotaging his work wouldn't do a whole lot. Since there are several of them, it's not that it's not worth our time, but we would rather cut the head off the beast rather than
run about chopping at the limbs.
Especially since the chopping at the limbs would put a giant target on our back and probably net us killed.
And you fled.
Better to
Less
fight another
fled
day.
and just continued on our journey. It's not something we ran away from. We didn't feel danger for it.
No coin.
There was no coin in it. And going out there and slaughtering a bunch of people, we didn't see a benefit to them or us in it.
So it sounds like you are corroborating Danelle's story. Fine.
Yes.
We chose not to take a battle that would not have benefited us. If you believe that means we ran away, then so be it. We chose a battle that we did not see enough benefit to risk.
And you have to understand, from Danelle's point of view, you lose fight and then you run from other fight. That's the only sampling she has of you. So
Of course,
it's
of course.
sadly the only sampling I have at this time.
That is also understandable. I don't condemn her for her assessment. Her assessment is, 4 or 5 days of our company, and we have been traveling for a significantly longer amount of time.
And do you feel capable?
We have certain skills. We have the ability to support one another through unique situations, persevere through difficult climbs and lack of resources. We're not at our best, but we've pulled out of worse.
Well, you already know I'm going to ask for something for information. Yes?
Of course.
What are the twins doing right now? Are they still like blindly just spacing
Hanging out.
off?
They just seem incredibly aloof. Just
Okay.
relaxed and sitting. They have not moved. They move casually, but they haven't gotten up or shifted
They're
aggressively. They
standing, right?
sat there.
Yeah.
They are sitting currently.
Oh, okay.
All three of these guys are sitting and all of you are standing.
Cool.
So
Sitting is a power move.
yeah. You
I mean,
gotta
yeah,
pick
just
your
sit
power.
on the air.
You guys just solid crouch.
Oh, they're doing
Um,
wall crunches. Oh my god. I'm here for that.
don't mind
but
me.
they don't have ethereal hands that they're sitting in, so
No.
that they're
No,
already
they
not
are-
as
So
full
it's
as-
just all
It's all
muscle.
glutes.
It's just
It's all
they're just
glutes, baby.
beefy thighs just holding them up.
I mean, it's
Um,
already canon that Nana is thick with 2 C's and a Q.
Yeah.
She could certainly try if she feels compelled. I will say
You could
the
definitely
two
see it on my face. Sorry.
the individuals at the sides,
The community is welcome to draw fan art if they so choose.
they are, I would say, they are slender in build, but you can tell that there is solid muscle under there, based mostly on the weight of that shield and the weight of that sword, as they have made no motion to grab anything or be part of the conversation or even acknowledge you. You watch Olavi glance around. Well, sadly, I do not at this time need somebody who is very good at the resources and, perseveres with helping each other. It's not my current need, but I can present you two options.
Go on.
Would you rather be thieves or killers?
Technically, I'm both.
If I have any say, I would prefer thief over killer. But it does somewhat depend on the target.
I would rather be a killer if it was an adequate target. I don't want to be a murderer. And a thief if it's something that can help people.
What happens to ink?
Actually incredibly topical. First, I would like to know which one you feel more comfortable doing, which job. There's something I need stolen. I will tell you, not good people. It's not like I'm asking you to go to children's orphanage and steal all of their money. That's not what I want. I will clarify. There's something I want stolen from a bad person. And there's a bad person I want dead. It is my terms of what is bad. I just don't like them, is currently my positioning.
I'm gonna step up and put a hand on his desk. Or does he have a desk?
Does not. He
Oh,
is just
oh,
there's
on
nothing
his
between
knee?
you guys.
Right on his
knee.
thigh.
Oh, lay. Oh no, that's not. I mean, is he hot though?
Roshan would have
lie.
noticed by now.
There's a bit of daddy energy.
I
it's
was
definitely,
thinking that.
dad speed.
I mean,
I was
that
thinking
is a
it.
big issue for Gorbjorn because he don't have a good one.
Yeah.
Oh.
Honestly, when you were
Right,
describing him, I was getting Taika Waititi vibes.
All right, evens
As
I do it,
Blackbeard.
odds I don't. Odds I don't put a hand on the thigh.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. It was rolled for.
Hands shaking.
Yeah, just well, it's full of beer. He can't.
Oh, he can't. So he's got to present him a beer?
I got to keep it
He just
canon. Okay, so I'm gonna just take a step forward and say,
And for both?
For both. You pushed me into a corner. This is same person. So if you want to do both, first we steal, and maybe you find something embarrassing for me and you make his last few days very sad. And then you kill him. If you do both, I pay for one of the jobs in money.
We're on time. You can only do one.
I will say, I think it is always fun to embarrass an enemy, make them feel small. It's hard to live in that on occasion. If you think you can steal something, by all means, take the job.
Just to clarify on the stealing things, can we not kill if we need to?
If you steal from him and can't find anything embarrassing, so it's getting all clustered. You ask so many questions.
No, I mean, if we steal from him, is it okay if we kill someone on the way out of necessity?
Oh, if you have to kill someone else, I
Sorry, been
so-
drinking.
The thing is, I would love for this to be a very clean job where you get in, you get out, you take what I want, you leave. And he can't go to the guards and be like, look at my broken window, But if you have to break window and kill guard, you have to break window and kill guard.
I think I like the way you think, and I would like to steal something and embarrass this person for you.
That is great.
Embarrassing is definitely something we can do.
If you can find information to embarrass this person and bring it to me, I will actually pay for that. Consider that paid for. Not even part of original stealing. And it will, now I will, pull back the curtain. The person that I would like you to steal from is Silas Steele. It is the man who killed your friend.
That
And
man,
I
I
love
don't
this.
mind doing a damn thing to.
Well, is there something else you want done? Sheesh, we've been
We
clamoring
could
to
give
do
the
that for
man
the
a
past.
wedgie. We could put him in the face first in the
Bully
cistern.
this guy for years.
You want his head?
Okay, so what we'll do, we'll steal, we'll embarrass him. Very fun, very fun. If you're still here after some time or you come back, then you bring me his head and I pay for it. After he's very sad, all of his nice things are gone and everybody knows his secrets and he can't sleep, that's it.
I mean,
Just
I-
emotionally
we may
wreck him
just steal
first.
from him and then kill him at the same time.
I mean,
That would be
if
an act
he
of mercy at that
accidentally
point.
dies, that's not my problem. But then I
Mhm.
cannot pay you for embarrassing him. Then again,
Mm.
it would be a very funny funeral. But he wouldn't feel it, and that is the fun part. But
Mm.
if he dies, he dies.
Mm.
But more money if it is just, haha, ruin his life forever,
And then he dies a few days later.
There's
He
always
does live
redemption,
100%.
so we can't give him that opportunity.
So
Yeah, we'll burn the redemption paperwork.
Oh golly.
So you've decided that you will steal nice things from me. Listen, honestly, hard job, not an easy job. Actually
Doable.
lost somebody on this job a while ago. If that gives you kind of a vague idea of what you're going into.
Which
Was
way
it
did
just
they go
one
in?
person going in alone?
It was 2, and I am down 2.
Huh. Wow.
You know.
Are they twins?
Oh, that would
Would
have been incredibly
Ah.
terrible.
Would it be possible for us to have access to the intelligence that they had access to prior to this job?
Didn't do them any
We
good.
give
Kevin
you
said yes.
information.
Like, we're asking a lot. I'm sorry.
I'm just saying, if he wants the job done, we might
This
as well
is
know
what I
what
can
not
give
to
you.
do.
I don't know what they did to get killed. Fuck
that's
up,
fair.
be failures.
Go through
But-
the wrong door, maybe. I don't know.
There
Eat
could be
beans.
trapdoors. Keep
They
it
could
in
have
mind.
just ran. Who knows?
Maybe he
They
ate
could have
beans.
fled town. I don't. Failure is I'm not a fan.
Mm.
Just rubs me the wrong way.
Mhm.
But Danelle does good work. Half a victory. I'll take it. Not happy about it. It's costing me a big fucking diamond, and this is why we're going to ruin Silas's fucking life because he cost me big fucking diamond.
Mhm.
So I will tell you where he lives. I want this mission done by tomorrow night. Because we're on the times table.
We are.
And you can, do whatever you need. This has nothing to do with me. You guys are just little thieves stealing little things and you bring them back to me.
Is there anything
so-
specific you would like?
There is, thank you.
Mm.
These are the things I want.
Mhm.
Some of these easier than others. First 2, easy. There is a painting that he keeps in a main room. It is of Skull and Hati, 2 wolves chasing the moon and sun. I want this painting.
I don't know
Next,
if he's gonna get it.
I
We
think
could
I
squeeze
cannot
it
say
into the bag
exactly
of
where this
holding.
would be. Bedroom, office. I don't know him. I've never been in the man's house. Not interested. Full of
Mm.
dusty old things. People just. Ugh, not my thing. There is a carpet, beautiful ornate carpet, depiction of the realms. I want that.
It's totally in the bathroom.
Right there. There's a chamber pot and just a
Contemplate the
beautiful carpet.
realms.
And the last thing, see, this is the thing that I think will be hard because, people who have nice things and are rich, they brag. That's what they do. He says that, nobody could get into my secret safe. There's a secret safe somewhere. Inside of this safe, there is a ball of crystal probably fits about hand size. Rest on gold tripod. These are the 3 things I would like. I would like them all brought to me. All 3 things.
Do you need the gold tripod?
You know, you keep that.
Dibs. Oh, yeah.
Your tip.
Amazing. Amazing.
That'll be a tip for a job well done.
That seems fair.
And then
I'll
the
make you
bonus
nice
is
wooden or tooth one. He's like, no.
so the bonus thing to get paid for is you find incriminating evidence. Something that's like, oh, he's a sex pervert. I don't know. I don't know what the man's about. He wears like can't even think of anything. I'm hard to embarrass, so just pick up on the vibes. Ruin his life. Make him sad.
Picking on the
Those are
vibes, I will place my hand on his vibe.
I'm feeling the vibes, boys.
What did you do with the other beer?
He has just one
Oh,
large.
no,
one.
it's just like on the floor. I didn't want to break it in front of him.
That's
It's
fine,
just
that's
one
fine,
more.
yeah.
It's just like I
Um,
finally finished one. Here we go.
Yeah,
Dude fully like pats your hand and like squeezes it.
Yes.
I don't know what to
Well-
do with this information.
This has been an incredible meeting.
I have to agree.
Just like her. I know everyone probably says that. I do have to say, it'll be very useful to me if you are as shitty of a person as she is. So fingers crossed.
Roshan doesn't even know what to say. Because on one hand, his brain's like, you should be offended. And then he's like,
Yeah.
yeah, but really, should I?
But should I?
I know
Okay.
how shitty my sister was. She's my sister.
Ben's gonna like actually go and like put his arm around Roshan. Like
Yeah, no,
that was like
valid.
a personal stab.
Yeah,
Like
a little bit.
Fen doesn't like the touching, but like he's gonna put his arm around Roshan. Like
I got you, bro.
bro, yeah,
I
like
need it.
bro.
Yeah.
We're
Watching this whole thing happen, he's like, oh, excuse me. I hope that was not insulting in any way. I am
everything
spoiler,
about
I am
this
a criminal.
exchange has been insulting
Oh,
entirely.
and you all are welcome to leave.
We're going to leave and we're going to do your job and
we will do
I'll
business,
let Donna
and
finish my sentence.
We'll
Maybe
do
for
our
best.
business, and we will collaborate in ways that will be, I hope, beneficial for all involved parties.
That is what I'm hoping. I was just hoping because, spoilers. I'm a criminal. That is kind of, bread and butter. So if I find
It is not
shitty
terribly a shocking
love to find
revelation, I
shitty
will
people.
confess.
people, they do good work.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully I find another one. Apple does not fall far from tree. Whew. He like takes a moment, like stretches his
Mhm.
jaw.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me cycle back a little bit because you did talk about this and I'm criminal.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like we've had a mostly nice conversation here. Insulted or not. Your patron, Ink. I have interest in them being alive because people are kind of useless when they are not. That's kind of the setup.
He was
I-
an acquaintance of yours?
So not really. We
Just
know
let
of
it
each other.
survive ink.
We know each other vaguely. He is not criminal.
Mm-hmm. That was not
But
our impression.
Not
he has a big
mine.
cart. He has a cart full of a lot of nice things.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he could be a great ally. So I'm going to spend a shit ton of money and rip him back out of the earth. You understand? So here's the thing. I have everything that needs doing. It's going to take a moment to get everything set up. If you stay nearby, I would say within the hour, somebody will come get you and we'll get the show on the road, yeah?
Sounds wonderful.
Fair enough.
Well, enjoy your stay.
It was a pleasure meeting you.
Of course, you'll be staying in the, I know you have rooms in the inn. 5 rooms, very interesting. Not cuddlers.
Not typically.
Sorry, you froze after 5 rooms for me.
Or not
He-
cuddlers. Yeah.
Yeah,
Not
so it was like,
cuddlers.
you guys aren't cuddlers?
Oh.
You guys
Not
into it?
typically. No,
That's fine.
not typically.
So are you going to be staying in the tavern? I guess about 45 minutes. Or if you're going to the inn, I just need to know where to find you.
I'm
Uh,
staying
We'll
right
head to
here.
the end.
We've got
Down?
moon's fall to do your job. You won't find us. We'll be back with the accomplishments that you've asked of us. You won't find us in the interim.
So you don't want to be part of Ink's revival.
We do.
We do.
All right. There's that.
45 minutes. Have another drink. Relax. Have a good time. Talk to Burtroe.
Burtroe is
And
rather
someone
the
will
one that
retrieve you.
Yeah.
So please.
All right. Fair enough.
And just eyes sort of like he like catches everybody a little bit. And then gets comfortable in his seat. As all of you make your way upstairs.
No.
I
No.
told you what I'm doing.
I'm here for it.
Uh-huh.
You're like, let me get you
Bjorn.
something better than that. I mean, if all of you want to stay down here and chit chat, I'm available.
And leaves
If
the
we-
room at the earliest opportunity.
I think that that's reasonable.
Want to chat and talk? I am happy to chat and talk and get you better drinks. Up there, garbage.
You're so easy to talk to.
know?
I think Roshan's just gonna leave you down here.
Yeah, this is the point I think where Nana would be like, all right, I feel like Gorbjorn can definitely yell loud enough that we'll hear him if he's in trouble, so...
I'm sure he could yell loud enough.
Yeah.
Gorbjorn, you let us know if you need anything, all right? We'll be upstairs.
I'm just finishing my last beer. Just
Uh-huh.
He watches the rest of you go and he's like, let me get you. And he pushes up and he has this cane, this ornate cane at his side, which he walks with. Go ahead and roll insight for me.
Big smart boy.
9.
Ah,
That dude has a sweet cane.
it's a sweet cane.
Daddy got a
Um,
cane.
Daddy, cane boys.
Daddy like a cane.
Using the cane, he like makes his way over and he grabs like a decanter and he's like, so you are a prince? And so like, what's up with that?
My God.
I love that. Oh, do you want me to go on? Or
No, that's a good
Yeah,
segue.
That does seem
exactly.
like a good
Well,
denouement, but
I was
you
gonna say
prince.
because I'm gonna fail so miserably with my
Please
roll.
don't make me. The rest of you are currently upstairs with Burtroe. What'd you guys like to do?
one thing I would like to retcon, as we're leaving, Nana would like to kind of like just pat Gorbjorn gently on the shoulder and give him enhance ability, specifically, specifically I would like to give him Eagle Splendor, advantage on charisma checks.
Right. He comes in with an energy.
I mean, like, it's just like this quiet little, all right, you got this. You're gonna do just fine. And there's like maybe just this little squaa in Gorbjorn's head. You know, eagle
Eagle screech.
whatever. Eagle screech. I
there's
feel
just
so
an
much more
emboldening
charismatic.
energy.
So with that, I do want to like just talk a little bit about like, I'm sure Gorbjorn's like 100% wrong, but he just makes up like orcish politics, and it's practically finders keepers, but just layman's like elongated terms.
That makes sense.
Go ahead and
I mean,
roll,
what else are wars fought over?
my brain stopped.
Sorry.
Deception with advantage. That one. There we go. We got all the words together.
16
Deception
total.
advantage, yes.
16 total.
16. Okay. He is easy to talk to. He full on seems like he's having a good conversation. During this, he asks questions, you answer with bullshit or not, and he accepts it for what it is, whether he believes it or not. But it's a good flowing conversation. During
That's
this,
way
he
to
does
hide the
introduce.
lies with some truth, right?
You gotta cover it with some
Mhm.
truth.
You
During
gotta
this time, he
sweeten it.
introduces you to the arms, which is what he calls the two people flanking him, and just refers to them as right arm and left arm, no names. And just you guys have a nice conversation about politics.
Very pleasant.
Meanwhile,
It's gonna be like some grabby politics. Oh, if I know politics.
he never I slipped
Goes
into
on
it.
all the time, I'm sure. We're having a discussion between very dignified people, but
Oh, yeah,
two
yeah.
dignified dudes having a dignified conversation.
Mm,
just
mm.
some
But
hands on
sometimes,
some crotches.
he's a thigh or whatever.
I'm just imagining you naked, no biggie.
Oh, sweet.
Where's the hot
Meanwhile,
tub?
upstairs. What's team upstairs
All
up
right,
to?
sorry, I'm done with
Fenn
Probably a
is
little
getting purchased
scrap
a
at,
drink
but-
as we speak.
You guys get drinks. Is
Yep.
there anything you're doing, or are you waiting the 45 minutes just casually?
Roshan wants to tell the other two, do not cross him in any meaningful way.
Why?
Was-
I understand that, and I don't think we did. But like, why did Danelle try to cross us? What was
Because
that?
she was trying to safeguard us, Fenn. She was laying it on thick so that he wouldn't feel compelled to put us in his employ, in his debt.
I think she was just being honest.
I think
She
if
was laying it on thick. though.
if she wanted to prevent Ink's death, all she had to do was act sooner and in concert with us, and she could have turned the tide of that entire battle. And she
How
did
would she
not.
have been able
And
to
Ink is
count-
dead because of her.
How would she have been able to count on our assistance, not knowing us from anyone else?
All she had to do was not continue to pursue me across the battlefield, and
And at that point, then draw the
Uh,
fire of absolutely everybody else who had been traveling with her up to that point,
she
just
didn't.
sabotaging her
She
and
could've-
getting her killed.
She could
and
have
not
she could have
benefiting us
pursued
at
me
all.
and not hit me. Honestly, but honestly,
Fenn, I'm just
she
saying.
lied about us. She lied about who we
Yes,
were and what
she
we could do,
did.
and it made us sound like that we were responsible for Ink's death when
We
We
were
were.
responsible
We
for
were.
Ink's
Fen,
death.
we
we
were, and but with her resources, we didn't have to be. And she
Fen.
saddled us with her failure.
It was over the moment Ink was shot at the start. Do you understand that? It was over at that moment. Ink went down, and we could not keep them back up. I tried. It wasn't going to happen. We failed. We must accept that, and we must move on, and we cannot play pride when we've got to be smarter. We have got to play our cards closer to the chest, or we will be eaten in this den of wolves. I'm sorry to be
do
cross,
what-
Fen, but
Do what we need to do here and gather some clams or mussels or bivalves of some sort, mollusks that were meant to, and get out of here. I hate this place.
I
Well,
know.
we're not done in this town yet. We still have to, if we find incriminating evidence, then perhaps we could ask another question about a witch.
Maybe.
We do need to know. We need leads. If we can point direction that those people are hiding, gives him more incentive to do as we say.
There's a good chance that Eitri is in this town now.
And what can we do to find her, aside from the dirty work of some crime lord?
Well, if the
Random
dirty work
chance.
proves fruitful enough, then that should be enough. If there's anything useful he can give us. If not, we'll have to ask around.
Which is no worse off than we would have had to do in the first place. At least this way we have a chance at some intelligence, some concrete direction.
Am I not fucking this dude for intelligence?
That's what I would like to
No,
know.
like, what the
I mean,
fuck
like,
am I
we're
doing, man?
not
Well,
sure
I'm
exactly what
doing
your
the
end goal
job.
is. We don't know that you're smarter. You do seem a bit more canny, but like we don't know that you're 2 whole
Plain
points smarter,
name.
There
dude.
would
We
have
don't
been,
know that
like,
you have an end game.
There would
You
have been
didn't
a
say
really,
anything.
Of course, it's totally on the spot. But sorry, go on. Sorry.
Yeah, Fen comes from a place of arranged marriages. He doesn't understand anything that you're doing.
The first time Bjorn had
Say-
sex, it was with 8 other people. Like,
It's true. And like no, like we just know
we
Gorbjorn
were
as the
all
horn
just
dog.
in the room, it was just like, let's fucking do this. Like, this is very.
Yeah. 100%. No, we know you like to go down, so we don't expect you to
Don't go
have
down. What do you do about it?
ulterior motive.
What are you gonna fucking do about it?
About it. Something about it.
All right.
I will say though, just Olavi deserves to be represented.
I agree.
Never gets
Fair.
below the clothes. He's a second date type man.
That's a
But
fair
I
he's
really
point.
respect that.
Yes.
yeah, and you're like, I
Olavi's just
respect that.
winning
Thank
my
you
heart,
for-
not Gorbjorn's heart.
but is real cool about like the leg grabbing and like grabbing hands and shit, like while you talk about Valentine's.
Oh,
He's
yeah,
chill
yeah.
with that.
Intimacy.
He probably
So-
like force grabbed my hand, is trying to play like a power move, and I'm into
Yeah,
it.
he's just like the rings digging in a little bit.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I can show my
Downstairs.
strength,
Cool.
but I show restraint. You know.
Yeah.
Mm.
Like I could. This is what I could do, but I won't.
Mm.
The rest of you
Put me on the
upstairs,
floor!
suplex.
Sorry, go on.
Friendly suplex.
Anything else, team upstairs? I'll say
Kyle,
Fen takes a lap because
Yeah.
he needs to.
Yep. Makes sense.
Anything for you two?
Oh boy. No, I think well. I really do want to figure out some kind of signal that we can come up between the two of us, Roshan. It seems like we're taking on some risky business, to say the least. It would be useful if we had some subtle way of letting one another know that we need each other if we cannot be within proximity.
Do you have a suggestion?
I mean, sadly, it is not my area of expertise, and you know that much. I mean,
If
I could.
I'm close enough, I can use simple magics. If I'm too far away, I don't have a lot of magic that can do it far away, but I can. I mean, you've got the hallucinatory terrain. You could, if it's really bad, you could make it look like the
You know, if you
forests
just start
of Galunder.
screaming,
Yeah.
How high does
Somebody will show up.
terrain? Can she make giant sequoias? Like, what's going on?
just a big wood, and I just start screaming.
Gotta play a place you're familiar with.
Yeah, it'd have to be a place I'm familiar with, which I've been kind of skinning as the woods of Galunder, but
Enough tree.
Well, trees in the middle of a town, definitely like a what the fuck?
very different,
Obvious.
extremely different, out of nowhere. Also wolves.
And people,
But also
if you
make it
pull
the-
over a tree in the middle of town, they start yelling at each other.
Yeah.
Oh,
But also
They
make
get
it the
mad about
valley
trees
where you
here.
terrify the
That.
shit out of everybody.
It's like
Yeah.
people disperse, nothing going on.
Could also
Um,
make it the valley because you'd be familiar with that, and people would be scared to shit of.
We will have to check the wording. I think it kind of led into more of like a
Oh,
home vibe,
Home
sort of
base
vibe,
territory
vibe.
rather
Okay.
than
A vibe.
a place you've been. Which, like, I don't think Nana considers the valley a home territory at
Oh
all.
no, I know.
You.
We
Mm.
all
Stop
have
it.
nightmares about that still.
Yes, we all still have nightmares about the valley. We
or
all
whatever
know
Fen
this.
meditates about, just thinking about the valley, just like fuck that place.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
Fuck
it's
that
all
place.
fuck that place. Yep. Even
Um,
Tordrek's like, nope, wouldn't go back.
Yeah, everybody fully hated that place, and rightfully
Except
so.
for the one and only good spot, which was the Luxodon village. That was the only good
Luxodons-
place.
Having
Tordrick
a pretty
may
good
be
time.
like, maybe I may go for that giant, that frost giant, but I'm not really into it.
Yeah, Tordrick is at a 1.5 stars out of 5.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
Tordrick's
yeah.
just like a little bit better than the rest.
Mm, mm.
During this conversation where you
Yes.
guys try to think of like, you're like, how do I contact you also? This
I mean,
drink's
like-
not terrible. It's bad, but it could be worse.
It could be
Um,
worse.
Sort of
Glug.
decompressing from the moment.
Yeah.
Gorbjorn, about closer to 30 minutes passes, and Danelle walks back into the room. He's here. And just like the disgust just drips out of her mouth.
Ooh, boy. Yeah, that
um,
makes sense.
Well, this is very good. I think we can get started. And he like pats you on the cheek, Gorbjorn.
Ooh.
I'll follow along, yeah.
Should we get the rest of your friends or just you?
They said they were interested, so I want them to be here. So
Yeah.
Gorbjorn will go ahead of himself saying like 1 minute.
Of course.
And then I'll just grab everybody and head back.
All right, cool. Cool. Gorbjorn comes up. We're like, hey, we up? Hey, we up. All right.
I'll grab
you come
another
there.
2 beers though.
Yeah, that makes sense. Another 3, did you say?
No, 2. I don't have 3 hands. Well,
I know,
I
but
have
like you
2
could
hands.
like cradle one in the
You get,
crook
like,
of
a
your
hook,
arm like this
like-
and just
Like
have,
Bosch
that.
has, just for
Yeah.
beer.
he like
Yeah.
grabs it by the handle and tilts his head the whole way.
It's
But then he
impressive.
can't
It's-
drink. He can't drink.
Oh my
2.
god.
You guys come back downstairs, and you can see that Olavi is in the process of standing up and like leaning a bit on the cane. Well, I have to take care of something real quick, but you'll be in knowledgeable hands. We'll see each other again soon. I'm incredibly sure. And he starts to make his way towards the other door. And Danelle
Is-
sort of, mhm.
Is it clear that it's probably an injury that makes him need the cane, or is there?
I mean,
I rolled
It's
a 9
fully
on that.
clothed.
Hey, you wanna get naked and show off your
hands off real
injuries?
quick. You got like
Not
a
after the second
What's
date.
up?
Not until.
yes, Nana.
I mean, I would like to know whether or not there's an opportunity to clock. Like, I feel like Nana's seen plenty of, like, guardsmen from Galunder in different states of injury and what have you, having need to use crutches and canes of certain sorts.
ones
Does
that
this look-
used
Because
to be
we're always at
adventurers,
war,
but
right?
until they took an arrow to the knee.
Right.
I'm trying
Is
to
this that
vibe how many
vibe?
arrows this guy took directly.
How
to the
many
knee.
arrows did
That's
he
a
take to
metaphor
which
for
knee?
marriage.
How many wives does this guy
Yes.
have?
Well, hey,
Well-
I'm more interested.
You're like, what's up? How many?
How many could join, right?
How many?
How
Um,
many?
So, Nana, I can give you this information free.
Okay.
This is a nice cane. This is an
Okay.
ornate cane.
Wow.
Doesn't seem like a, oh, I hurt my leg and I'll be better
Oh.
soon type of
Uh-huh.
cane.
This is the pimp cane.
This is the I paid a lot of money for this cane. It stays
Aha.
cane.
That's valid.
Like, I'm
It
gonna
doesn't
buy
matter if it
one
doesn't match my
cane,
style anymore. I
and
paid
that's
so
it.
much money for it.
If I have to buy another cane,
A lot of people are
but
gonna
do
die.
yeah, so many people will die. You are then left with Danelle, who seems so uncomfortable. Like
Yeah.
it's like just there is an energy about her now where she feels it's like just visible discomfort. Come with me. Yes, Nana.
How obvious exactly is it that this is like druid distaste for necromancy?
She has already stated that she hates this for what it is and is
Yeah.
not trying to hide it currently.
Fair enough. All right. Totally lines up. No further questions.
And she leads you into a back room. And the first thing you see as you enter, she's like, this is Lafayette. And towering above you, 7 feet tall, slouching, is a body covered in fur, just huge slouched long arms that end in curving claws, the same on the feet, which he kind of stands high on. The back almost a perfect C, fully slouched, discolored and stained patches of fur, parts where it's like it looks like it's fallen out or became so diseased you can tell there's just like the dry skin underneath, and wearing clothing that looks to be incredibly old and torn, and in some places you can see like mildew beginning to grow on some of like the leathered spots and like eating through some of the fabric, and there is a smell of wet dog as this thing leans over, and its face with yellow jaundiced eyes and an extended snout, lips pulled back into a sharp-toothed smile. You look up at Lafayette the Knoll.
Yeah.
Oh, shit!
Who you can tell is trying to smile, but it just looks intimidating when you have a muzzle full of sharp teeth. And it's just like, and it's like, hello.
Hi there.
And like,
Roshan will go over and shake his hand.
Mm-hmm.
the hand
Shake the
fully
man's hand.
encompasses yours, and it's just like long and like oddly bent and far away as you shake hands, as he tries to like reach your hand from his angle,
Oh,
but is
no.
eventually able to shake it.
Oh my god.
Just looks over the group. Just these just very large and but lanky, very wide in the shoulders, but like more slender in the hips. Kind of looks over. Yes, I am Lafayette.
How do you do?
Blessed by Mercy herself, and just motions his large, like sharp hands upwards. I shall dig my hands past the realm and banish death.
Okay.
And
Who's Mercy?
the goddess, Ire. She is Mercy.
Does that sound familiar to Roshan?
No religion.
Or any of us?
Yes, Finn? If you're
I'm just world building question. Have any hyenas probably thin on the ground in Scandinavia? Like, have any of
Or
us seen a
just-
knoll?
no,
ever?
you've never seen a hyena. And
Never
this is
mind a
probably
knoll.
your first knoll. Like
Okay.
knolls
All right.
not common at all.
That's
Okay.
what I was assuming. Yeah.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
looks
this
like
this
a
dude is
weird
his own
spotted
thing.
wolf man.
Yeah, just a big weird wolf guy.
Big weird dog man.
What'd you get, Roshan?
23.
Yeah, you know of Ire. She is in some versions known as a goddess of mercy and protection, and is known to be a goddess of medicine. But not super widespread, oddly. But you kind of look at this and you're like, understood. And it just like these yellow tinted eyes just like scanning the room, and just Danelle just kind of like sucks through her teeth, and she's like, right. And she fully walks out.
That's fair. So what
Well.
needs to be done to bring ink back?
Well, the process is traumatic to the body and the mind.
Makes sense.
Is there a family member or friend? Someone to be seen before me?
Well, I feel as though Gorbjorn maybe would be a friendlier face than most of us. Gorbjorn, what do you think?
I'll step forward, yeah.
Kind of aggressive nodding, and like some hair falls out from the head. Just you. Follow me. We'll be back in an hour. And begins to just like stomp over to another door.
Why did I even
no one
call
else
them in
come?
the first place? They should have
Can-
just stayed at the bar.
Roshan asks after them, would it be all right if I came assisted, watched?
The eyes narrow a bit. Go ahead and roll persuasion.
He'd be well versed in some magics.
That's a 15. Not very good roll.
Oh.
Super good.
Can I give him advantage by like nodding? Oh, I'm like, yeah, this guy.
Yeah,
Princely,
this guy's
yeah,
rad.
like, yeah,
You know
this
what?
would
Sure,
be
why
my
not?
second.
Like,
Heck yeah.
Also, super close with ink. We're bros.
Yes.
16.
Heck.
You know, I'm gonna roll me a flat dice, because it's high. It's not middle of the road.
Okay.
No touch. No talk. Stand in corner. Good?
Absolutely.
Watch.
1 hour. And just like fully stomps into the next room, which Gorbjorn and Roshan follow. This room, smaller than the one you were just in. The one you were in looks kind of like a storage room. And currently has Danelle in the doorway, sort of like, you can make yourself comfortable in here, up there. It's warmer upstairs, whatever you want. But the other part of the party enters into this small room that has like, it looks like old ruined fabric across the floor. Unlit candles litter the place, along with a bowl which looks like it has hot coals in it. In the center, you see a wooden table. On top of this is where Ink's body lies. Incredibly pale, white, basically, even worse than it was before. Just there's a lack of pigment anywhere in the body, from the hair to the skin to the eyes. The only thing, an aggressive splash of color against it, is the blood stains. The places where the body was cut into. The body is still bearing these. This ritual, it takes some time and can be graphic. And begins to start walking around and picks up a container, a small bowl of liquid, and throws it onto the coals. And there is a sickly sweet smell, which quickly turns to a burnt smell as whatever sugars were in that begin to caramelize, and just begin to waft through the air. He moves around and begins to light candles, and then goes over to a bowl and picks it up, a bowl of water, which has a rag hanging out of it. Great Mother Mercy, lend me your hands. And looks to Gorbjorn and pulls out the washcloth. Help clean.
And I will clean Ink body.
You begin to clean Ink's body. Another rag is obtained, and the gnoll, Lafayette, begins to clean with you until there is no trace of blood left to be seen on the outside of the body. The scars still aggressive against the white skin, but now clean from blood.
Well, I'm
Once
assuming
that is
the
done-
wound is still open because he's dead and nothing was healed. Yeah.
It's not too far, not too bad. It's not good, but not too terrible. Lafayette then dips his large hand into another bowl, which you can see is full of some type of oil. And over each wound, with like a clawed finger, trying very hard to tilt it as far back as he can so that it's just the pad and not the claw, begins to, in oil, draw runes across each injury and spending extra time on the large slit in the neck, moving slowly over each. There's a low glow that comes from this oil and kind of sticks to the body. After the oil is applied, 2 stones are grabbed and placed upon Ink's eyes. Drawn on these stones are 2 narrowed eyes. No color on them, like it was drawn with charcoal, just black eyes staring forward. You then watch as Lafayette going through this, and this process in itself has taken a large amount of time. Pulls a hefty, beautiful diamond from a pouch at their side and sort of looks over the body and looks to the diamond and raises both hands, holding it above their head, which nearly grazes the ceiling on this place, kind of extending their body to full height. Ire of death, ire of suffering, and just like begins to tighten his grip onto the diamond. My hand's a vessel, the bane of the end. And there is a shattering sound as the diamond explodes into millions of pieces in the hands and slams just directly into the flesh. And you watch as these embedded pieces, as blood begins to slowly spill down the wrists. And just this, it's a valley of stars on the hand. And you watch as the blood is pulled back up and the wounds heal. And these hands stay aloft, glowing. We shall proceed. We have her blessing. And reaches down with a claw, and right below the rib cage, digs the claw into the flesh and begins to open the body below the rib cage. You watch as slowly, carefully, Lafayette slips a hand up under the rib cage. And you can watch as the wrist tenses. And it's as if he is squeezing at the heart, massaging it, coaxing it back to life. And there is a long time spent on this, as you can hear low chanting, but this time no longer in common. It's more a bunch of like barking and yipping, a strange language, as it continues to squeeze the heart in a rhythm over and over and over and over. And time passes. And you think about at the hour mark during this time, candles have been slowly going out on their own across the room, smoke drifting up into the air. And at the hour mark, the last candle goes out. And you hear a loud crack sound as you realize Ink has opened their jaw for the first time in days. And a horrible intake of breath, a gasp, to begin screaming with hundreds of voices, just filling the space as Ink tries to scramble upwards. You watch as Lafayette tries to pulls their hand out as carefully as they can, and you watch the wound begin to heal as Ink screams and tries to get a grasp of anything, and you can hear the crack of each joint that hasn't moved for days.
I'll
Is
try to
Ink-
hold his body down a bit.
You come over and grab at Ink, and it is
Pin him.
easier than you expected from the amount of like crazed flailing that was happening. The body is weak and can't really fight against you, but grabs onto you and holds on tightly, gripping something, and the rocks have fallen away, and Ink stares at you with black irises, stark against the rest of their body, eyes wild and manic.
Some tears are gonna stream down Gorbjorn's eyes as he's gonna be pinning down Ink, and it's just like, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
The screams continue for a moment, and it's almost as if each voice sort of drops out of this uniform scream, and another intake of breath, and you cry together. Ink begins to weep, and at this point is just fully holding on to you, has given up on struggling or trying to go anywhere, just holds on to you and weeps. And that is where we are going to stop for today. Thank you all so much for being here. We truly appreciate getting to tell you guys a story. Sometimes it's fun, there's a cat. Sometimes it's sad, you bring a man back from the dead.
We'll see
but-
if he thanks us for it.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll find
Here at
out.
the Dice Cult, we have a lot of stuff going on. On Tuesdays, we have Legends of Thea run by Frank. This is,
We miss him and
you
we
bring a
love
beer,
him, but good
bring a
golly.
snack, have a good time, enjoy some Dungeons and Dragons, watch them beat up some monsters. It's good stuff. It's good fun. And on Wednesdays, we have Cordially Invited bi-weekly. This is the on week for Cordially Invited. They, Dungeons and Dragons, but planning a wedding, a beautiful royal wedding. And everything
Hooray.
is going well, and everybody
Yes.
trusts everybody, and nothing is
Yes.
wrong and nothing is
Right.
bad.
Yes.
And if
exactly.
you
Everything's
believe
fine.
me or don't, you can check it out this
Everything is
Wednesday on our
fine.
YouTube channel at
Yeah.
youtube.com/The Dice Cult. That's where, so you can also watch all of our backlogs of shows. You can catch up and be like, wait, who's this dead guy? It's Ink. You can
Yeah.
find out about them a few
Oh!
episodes back. It's great.
And like you'll see just from our backlog that we are very consistent. All of our parties know exactly what we're doing. We do exactly as we intend to from start to finish, and we succeed every step along the way.
The show is
no
scripted.
failure. If you want to keep up with, I gotta give a slight update.
Oh,
Normally on Saturdays we have Vampire the Masquerade and The Last Remaining Light, but we're people who do things and have lives. So it hurts, and I'm sad.
Boo.
I'm dealing with it like an adult.
of course.
We are going to be taking 2 Saturdays off, which painful, seeing as we are in the end game. But what? Screaming, everyone panics. But we will be back. And if you want to keep up with us to know when things are happening and when shows happen and when they'll be back and what's going on, it's at the Dice Cult on Instagram and Twitter. And if you want to keep up with us personally, we are at Backs of Gods on Instagram and Twitter. So if you want to see some art and get to know what people look like and stuff, you can take a gander if you want to. Once again, thank you for being here. We really, truly appreciate it. We love telling a story.
We do.
It's been real fun. We will see you same time, same place, Mondays at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we will see you guys then. Good night, everybody.
Thanks for joining us, cultists.